If you wake up tired, even after sleeping through the night, if your belly seems to grow larger, even though you are eating less than before, if you constantly crave something sweet after meals and feel exhausted only an hour later, then what is happening inside your body may have very little to do with aging. And that is exactly what makes this so dangerous. Because most people think these are just normal signs of getting older. They blame stress. They blame retirement. They blame poor sleep or a slower metabolism. But in many cases, these are early warning signs of something happening silently beneath the surface for years before diabetes is ever diagnosed. And the frightening part is this: insulin resistance often develops quietly. No sharp pain, no dramatic symptoms, no emergency that forces you to pay attention. It builds slowly, year after year, while your blood vessels, pancreas, liver, and even your brain begin to feel the effects. By the time many people hear the words pre-diabetes, the damage has already been progressing for a long time. Here is what most doctors do not fully explain during a short office visit. Insulin is the hormone that helps move sugar from your bloodstream into your cells for energy. But when your body becomes resistant to insulin, it is like the locks on your cells stop responding to the key. Sugar stays trapped in the blood. Your pancreas works harder and harder trying to compensate, and eventually, the entire system begins to wear down. This is why so many older adults feel tired after eating, why they gain stubborn weight around the stomach, why they wake up at 3 a.m. unable to fall back asleep, why cravings become stronger even when they are trying to eat healthier. These problems are connected. They are not random. And today, I want to show you exactly how to recognize the warning signs before things get worse. Because in this video, we are going to walk through 7 early symptoms of insulin resistance that many people ignore until it is too late. Some of them may surprise you. We are also going to talk about 3 natural spices, backed by scientific research, that may help support healthier blood sugar levels and improve insulin sensitivity naturally when used consistently. But there is also one critical mistake that causes many people to fail, even when they believe they are eating healthy and trying their best. And once you understand this mistake, you may see why your body has been struggling for so long. So stay with me until the end, because the number 1 spice on our list is the one most people already have in their kitchen, but almost nobody is using correctly. And before we begin, I want to ask you something simple. Do you often feel sleepy after meals? Or do you wake up around 3 a.m. and struggle to get back to sleep? If that sounds familiar, leave a comment below. You are not alone, and your experience may help someone else realize that what they are feeling is not just aging, after all. Now let us talk about what is actually happening inside your body. Because once you understand this part, everything else begins to make sense. And I promise to explain it in the simplest way possible. Imagine your body as a house with billions of tiny rooms. These rooms are your cells. Every single cell needs energy to survive and function properly. That energy mostly comes from glucose, which is a form of sugar your body creates from the food you eat. But glucose cannot simply walk into the cell on its own. It needs help. And that help comes from a hormone called insulin. Think of insulin as a small key. After you eat, insulin travels through your bloodstream, carrying glucose with it. Its job is to unlock the doors of your cells so sugar can enter and be used as energy. When everything works normally, the process is smooth. The doors open easily. Glucose enters the cells. Your energy stays stable. Your blood sugar remains balanced. But over time, especially with chronic stress, poor sleep, inflammation, processed foods, and years of blood sugar spikes, those locks on the cell doors begin to change. They become rusty. Insulin still arrives with the key, but now the lock does not respond properly. The door barely opens. This is insulin resistance. And when that happens, your pancreas panics. It starts producing more and more insulin, trying to force the doors open. For a while, this works. Your blood sugar may still appear normal on basic tests. But inside your body, the system is under enormous strain. Then the silent symptoms begin. You gain weight around the belly, even though your eating habits have not changed much. You feel exhausted after meals because the sugar is trapped in your bloodstream instead of reaching your cells efficiently. Your brain feels foggy. You walk into a room and forget why you went there. You crave sweets constantly because your body is desperate for quick energy. And perhaps most frustrating of all, you feel tired almost all the time. Not the normal tiredness of a busy day, a deeper fatigue, the kind that sleep does not fully fix. Many people also experience sleepiness after eating, especially lunch or dinner. Others wake up in the middle of the night, often around 2 or 3 a.m., unable to fall back asleep. These are not random aging symptoms. They are metabolic warning signs. Meanwhile, another dangerous process is quietly growing in the background: chronic inflammation. Unlike the swelling you see after an injury, chronic inflammation is silent. You cannot feel it directly, but inside the body, it damages blood vessels, stresses the pancreas, and makes insulin resistance even worse. It becomes a vicious cycle. I once spoke with a 67-year-old man who believed all of this was simply part of getting older. He was gaining abdominal weight, feeling sleepy after meals, and forgetting small things more often. He assumed it was normal aging. Then one routine blood test revealed something shocking. He had been living with pre-diabetes for years without knowing it. And honestly, his story is far more common than most people realize. But here is the truly frightening part. For many people, insulin resistance develops quietly for 10 years or more before diabetes is finally diagnosed. And by then, the damage has already begun affecting the heart, blood vessels, nerves, kidneys, and brain. But this is where things become even more important, because once you understand what drives insulin resistance, you can begin to reverse the process naturally. Before many people are diagnosed with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, the body often sends quiet warning signals for years. The problem is that most people do not recognize them. They assume these changes are simply part of aging, stress, or being tired. But when several of these symptoms appear together, your body may already be struggling with insulin resistance. The first warning sign is feeling exhausted after meals. You eat lunch or dinner, and instead of feeling energized, you feel heavy, sleepy, and mentally slow. This happens because glucose is building up in the bloodstream instead of entering the cells efficiently. Your body releases more insulin trying to manage the sugar surge, and that sudden shift can leave you feeling drained. One simple way to improve this is to take a gentle 10-minute walk after meals. Even light movement helps muscles absorb glucose more effectively. The second sign is gaining weight around the stomach, even when you are not eating very much. Many older adults become frustrated because they feel like they eat less than they did years ago, yet their waistline keeps growing. Insulin resistance encourages the body to store more fat around the abdomen because excess insulin acts like a fat storage hormone. Improving sleep quality and reducing processed carbohydrates can help reduce this cycle over time. The third warning sign is constant cravings for sweets or carbohydrates. You may finish a meal and still want cookies, bread, or dessert shortly afterward. This happens because your cells are struggling to access energy properly, so the brain keeps demanding quick fuel. One retired teacher described it as never feeling satisfied no matter what I ate. Adding more protein and fiber to meals often helps stabilize blood sugar and reduce these cravings naturally. The fourth sign is afternoon sleepiness. Around 2 or 3 o'clock, your energy crashes so hard that you feel like you could fall asleep in a chair. This is often linked to blood sugar spikes followed by rapid drops. Large meals high in refined carbs can make this worse. Drinking more water, eating balanced meals, and moving after lunch can help smooth out those energy swings. The fifth sign is darkened skin around the neck, underarms, or other folds of the body. Many people think it is dirt or skin aging, but it can actually be a condition linked to high insulin levels called acanthosis nigricans. Elevated insulins stimulate skin cells abnormally, causing darker patches to appear. This symptom should never be ignored because it often points to significant insulin resistance already developing. The sixth warning sign is waking up frequently during the night, especially around 2 or 3 a.m. Blood sugar instability and stress hormones can disrupt normal sleep cycles. Some people wake up anxious, sweaty, or suddenly alert for no clear reason. Reducing late-night sugar intake and improving evening routines can make a surprising difference. And finally, the seventh sign is brain fog. You forget words, lose focus during conversations, or walk into a room and forget why you went there. The brain depends heavily on stable glucose delivery, and insulin resistance can interfere with that process. Many people assume this is simply aging, but in some cases, improving metabolic health also improves mental clarity. And here is what makes this truly concerning. Most people experience several of these symptoms long before they ever hear the word pre-diabetes. Now let us move to spice number 3 on our list. And this one surprises a lot of people because most only think of it as a remedy for stomach problems. We are talking about ginger. Yes, the same ginger that people drink in tea when they feel nauseous or have an upset stomach. But what many people do not realize is that ginger may also play an important role in supporting blood sugar balance and improving insulin resistance naturally. And the science behind this is genuinely fascinating. One of the biggest problems in insulin resistance is that glucose struggles to enter your cells efficiently. The sugar stays trapped in the bloodstream, while your muscles and tissues are left starving for energy. That is why people with insulin resistance often feel tired, even after eating. Now here is where ginger becomes interesting. Research suggests that compounds inside ginger, especially gingerols and shoguls, may help muscle cells absorb glucose more effectively. In simple terms, ginger appears to help your muscles pull sugar out of the bloodstream and use it as fuel more efficiently. And this matters because your muscles are one of the largest consumers of glucose in the entire body. Think about it this way. Every time you walk, stand, stretch, or move around, your muscles are burning glucose for energy. The more sensitive your muscles are to insulin, the easier it becomes for sugar to leave the bloodstream and enter the cells where it belongs. But ginger does not stop there. It also has powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Remember earlier when we talked about chronic inflammation acting like a silent fire inside the body? That inflammation damages insulin receptors and makes insulin resistance worse over time. Ginger contains natural compounds that help calm some of those inflammatory pathways. This means ginger may support blood sugar control from multiple angles at once, improving glucose uptake, reducing inflammation, and helping the body respond better to insulin. I once heard from a 71-year-old woman who started drinking warm ginger water every morning after her doctor warned her about rising blood sugar levels. At first, she expected nothing dramatic. She simply wanted a healthier morning habit. But after several weeks, she noticed something unexpected. Her energy after breakfast became steadier. She stopped feeling that heavy sleepiness in the afternoon. Even her cravings for sweets at night became less intense. Now, was ginger the only reason? Of course not. She also improved her sleep and started walking after dinner. But ginger became part of a daily routine that helped her body slowly move in the right direction. And that is the key word here. Consistency. Not once a week. Not only when you remember. Daily. The simplest way to use ginger is incredibly easy. Take a small piece of fresh ginger, or about a teaspoon of grated ginger, and place it in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes. Drink it warm in the morning before breakfast. Some people also add ginger to soups, smoothies, or stir-fried vegetables throughout the day. But there is one mistake you must avoid. Do not assume sugary ginger drinks provide the same benefit. Many commercial ginger ales and bottled ginger beverages contain huge amounts of sugar, which can spike blood glucose and completely cancel out the metabolic benefits. What your body needs is real ginger, not ginger-flavored sugar water. And while ginger is powerful, the next spice on our list may be even more impressive because it works at an even deeper cellular level inside the body. Now, let us talk about spice number 2, because this one works at an even deeper level inside the body. And there is one major mistake that causes most people to get almost no real benefit from it. We are talking about turmeric. More specifically, the powerful natural compound inside turmeric called curcumin. You have probably seen turmeric everywhere in recent years, in teas, supplements, health drinks, and social media recipes. But here is what most people do not realize. Nearly 90% of people using turmeric are using it incorrect, which means their bodies absorb very little of its active compounds. And that completely changes the results. Let us first understand why turmeric has attracted so much attention from researchers studying blood sugar and metabolic health. One of the biggest drivers of insulin resistance is chronic inflammation. Not the kind of inflammation you feel when you injure yourself, but low-grade silent inflammation happening deep inside the body every single day. This inflammation interferes with insulin signaling and slowly damages the pancreas over time. Curcumin appears to help calm that inflammatory process. Studies suggest that curcumin can reduce inflammatory markers throughout the body, creating a healthier environment for insulin to function properly. In simple terms, it may help those rusty locks on your cells respond better again. But turmeric may do something even more important. It may help protect the pancreas itself. Remember, your pancreas is the organ responsible for producing insulin. In insulin resistance, the pancreas works overtime for years trying to keep blood sugar under control. Eventually, those insulin-producing cells, she's exhausted and damaged. Curcumin appears to help reduce oxidative stress and inflammation around those pancreatic cells, potentially helping preserve their function longer. Now here is the critical part almost nobody talks about. Curcumin is naturally very difficult for the body to absorb. You can eat turmeric every day and still absorb only a tiny amount, unless you combine it with one specific ingredient, black pepper. Black pepper contains a natural compound called piperine, and piperine has been shown to increase curcumin absorption dramatically, in some studies by up to 2,000%. Think about that for a moment. Without black pepper, most of the curcumin simply passes through the body unused. But with a small pinch of black pepper, absorption increases powerfully. I remember hearing from a man in his early 70s who struggled with high blood sugar and chronic joint inflammation for years. He began adding turmeric and black pepper to warm milk every evening before bed. After several weeks, he noticed his morning stiffness improving and his energy becoming more stable throughout the day. Again, this was not magic. He also improved his eating habits and walked more consistently. But turmeric became part of a larger healing routine. One of the easiest ways to use turmeric is through something many people call golden milk. Simply add turmeric, a small pinch of black pepper, and warm milk together before bedtime. Some people also add cinnamon or ginger for extra flavor and support. You can also add turmeric and black pepper to soups, eggs, rice, or vegetables during the day. And while turmeric works powerfully against inflammation, the next spice on our list may be the most impressive of all, because it directly targets blood sugar itself in multiple different ways. Now we come to spice number 1. And this is the one that has been studied more extensively for blood sugar support than almost any other natural spice on this list. But there is a problem. Most people are using the wrong type completely. We are talking about cinnamon. Not just any cinnamon, but specifically Ceylon cinnamon, often called true cinnamon. You have probably heard people say cinnamon is good for blood sugar, but very few explain why it works, how it works, or why choosing the correct type matters so much. Here is what researchers have discovered. Certain natural compounds inside cinnamon appear to mimic some of the effects of insulin itself. In simple terms, cinnamon may help cells respond to glucose more efficiently, almost like helping unlock those resistant cell doors we talked about earlier. But that is only one part of the story. Cinnamon also helps slow down the digestion of carbohydrates. That means sugar enters the bloodstream more gradually after meals, instead of flooding the system all at once. When blood sugar rises more slowly, the body does not need to release such large amounts of insulin. This is incredibly important for people dealing with insulin resistance. because over time, repeated blood sugar spikes place enormous stress on the pancreas and worsen inflammation throughout the body. Research has also shown that cinnamon may help reduce post-meal blood sugar elevations, which many experts believe is one of the most damaging patterns in metabolic disease. But now we need to talk about something extremely important. There are two major types of cinnamon commonly sold in stores. The first is cassia cinnamon. This is the cheaper variety found in most supermarkets. It has a stronger flavor, but it also contains higher amounts of a compound called coumarin, which may become harmful to the liver when consumed in large amounts regularly. The second type is Ceylon cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon contains much lower levels of coumarin, making it a safer option for daily long-term use. Its flavor is softer and slightly sweeter, and this is the type most experts recommend when using cinnamon consistently for blood sugar support. One woman in her 60s with pre-diabetes shared that after adding Ceylon cinnamon to her breakfast every morning for about a month, she noticed fewer cravings in the evening and more stable energy throughout the day. She no longer felt the intense desire for sweets after dinner that had troubled her for years. Again, this was not an overnight miracle. It was part of a larger shift toward supporting her metabolism naturally. And that is the mindset that matters most. Consistency over perfection. Using Ceylon cinnamon daily is simple. Most studies suggest about half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per day is a practical amount. You can add it to oatmeal, yogurt, coffee, smoothies, or warm tea. Some people even sprinkle it over fruit or add it to soups and savory dishes. Small habits may seem insignificant at first, but over months and years, they can change the direction of your health completely. Now we come to spice number 1. And honestly, this may be the most surprising one of all, because millions of people already have it sitting in their kitchen right now. Yet most are using the wrong type completely and getting very little real benefit. We are talking about cinnamon. But not just any cinnamon. Specifically, Ceylon cinnamon, often called true cinnamon. You have probably heard people say cinnamon is good for blood sugar. Maybe you have seen it sprinkled on oatmeal or added to coffee. But very few people explain why it works inside the body or why choosing the correct type matters so much for long-term health. Here is what researchers have discovered. Certain natural compounds found in cinnamon appear to imitate some of insulin's actions. Think back to those rusty locks we talked about earlier. Cinnamon may help the cells respond more effectively to insulin, making it easier for glucose to move out of the bloodstream and into the cells where it can be used for energy. But that is only one reason cinnamon has attracted so much scientific attention. Cinnamon also slows the breakdown of carbohydrates during digestion. In simple terms, this means sugar enters the bloodstream more gradually after a meal instead of rushing in all at once. That slower release helps reduce sharp blood sugar spikes and decreases the amount of insulin the body has to produce. And those repeated spikes matter more than most people realize. Every time blood sugar rises sharply, the pancreas is forced to work harder. Over years, this constant stress contributes to inflammation, fatigue, cravings, and worsening insulin resistance. Some studies have shown that cinnamon may help lower post-meal blood sugar levels significantly when used consistently over time. And for people in the pre-diabetes stage, that can make a meaningful difference. But now we need to discuss something critically important. There are two main types of cinnamon sold in stores. The first is cassia cinnamon, the cheaper and more common variety found in most supermarkets. It has a stronger taste, but also contains higher amounts of a compound called coumarin. In large amounts over time, coumarin may place stress on the liver. The second type is Ceylon cinnamon. Ceylon contains far lower levels of coumarin, making it a much safer option for daily use. Its flavor is lighter, softer, and slightly sweeter. This is the type many health experts recommend for long-term blood sugar support. One woman in her 60s shared that after adding Ceylon cinnamon to her breakfast every morning for just over a month, something unexpected happened. Her evening cravings became weaker. She stopped searching the kitchen for sweets after dinner. Her energy throughout the day also felt steadier and more predictable. Not dramatic overnight change, just gradual improvement. And that is how real metabolic healing often happens. Slowly, consistently, quietly. Using Ceylon cinnamon is simple. Most people use about half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon daily. You can stir it into coffee, oatmeal, yogurt, smoothies, tea, or even warm milk before bed. These small daily habits may not feel powerful in the moment, but over time, they can completely change the direction your health is moving. So let us bring everything together. If there is one thing I hope you take away from this video, it is this: prediabetes is not a life sentence. It is a warning sign, a signal from your body that something is out of balance long before permanent damage has to occur, and that matters because it means there is still time to change direction. Many people hear the words high blood sugar or prediabetes and immediately feel fear. They imagine medications, restrictions, exhaustion, or the same health struggles they watched family members go through. But your future is not decided by one lab result. What matters most is what you do next. Because now you understand what insulin resistance actually is. You understand why fatigue, cravings, belly fat, poor sleep, and brain fog are often connected. And most importantly, you now have practical tools that may help support your body naturally. Not magic pills, not extreme diets, simple daily habits repeated consistently over time. So here is the challenge I want you to take seriously. Give yourself 30 days. 30 days of supporting your metabolism intentionally. Drink your ginger water in the morning. Add Ceylon cinnamon to your meals. Use turmeric with black pepper consistently. Walk after meals when you can. Prioritize sleep. Drink more water. Pay attention to how your body responds. And during those 30 days, track 3 things carefully. First, your energy levels. Do you still feel exhausted after meals? Are your afternoons becoming more stable? Second, your cravings. Are you thinking less about sugar late at night? Are you feeling satisfied longer after eating? And third, if possible, monitor your blood sugar. Even small improvements matter. A slight drop in fasting glucose or fewer dramatic spikes after meals means your body is beginning to respond. That progress is important because real healing usually does not happen overnight. It happens gradually, quietly, through small actions repeated again and again. And that leads to something I want you to remember long after this video ends. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be consistent. Missing one day does not ruin your progress. One unhealthy meal does not erase your efforts. What changes your future is the overall direction of your habits over time. Small decisions become powerful when repeated daily. And for many people, those small decisions are what prevent prediabetes from becoming type 2 diabetes years later. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe, because we regularly talk about natural ways to support healthy aging, blood sugar balance, brain health, and longevity, using science-backed information explained in simple language. And before you leave, I want you to do one thing. Go down to the comments and type 30 days. That simple comment is a commitment to yourself, a reminder that your health deserves attention now, not someday later. And if you want to continue learning, watch the next video where we talk about the everyday foods quietly damaging the pancreas and the powerful morning habits that may help lower blood sugar naturally before breakfast even begins. Take care of yourself. Your body has been fighting for you every single day. Now it is time to start fighting for it too.